49ers just announced their final cuts for 2020. Here they are. Defensive lineman Alex Barrett, wide receiver River Craycraft, safety Jonathan Cyprien, defensive lineman Darian Daniels, linebacker Evan Foster, offensive lineman Hronis Grasu, tight end Marquise Gray, tight end Chase Harrell, cornerback Tim Harris Jr., running back JaMychal Hasty, fullback Josh Hokett, wide receiver Jawan Jennings, cornerback Dante Johnson, offensive lineman Jared Jones-Smith, defensive lineman Dion Jordan, defensive lineman Cameron Malvo, safety Jared Maiden, wide receiver Sean Poindexter, offensive lineman Dakota Shepley, offensive lineman William Sweet, cornerback Jamar Taylor, linebacker Joe Walker, and wide receiver Kevin White. So here's the 49ers 53-man roster. At quarterback, they have Jimmy Garoppolo, Nick Mullins, and CJ Beathard. At running back, they have Raheem Mostert, Tevin Coleman, Jerick McKinnon, Jeff Wilson Jr., and Kyle Juszczyk. At wide receiver, they have Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Kendrick Bourne, Trent Taylor, Dante Pettis, and Richie James Jr. At tight end, they have George Kittle, Jordan Reed, Ross Dwelley, and Charlie Werner. At offensive line, they have Trent Williams, Laken Tomlinson, Ben Garland, Daniel Brunskill, Mike McGlinchey, Justin Skule, Colton McKivitz, and Tom Compton. At defensive line, they have Nick Bosa, Javon Kinlaw, DJ Jones, Eric Armstead, Dee Ford, Solomon Thomas, Kerry Hyder, Kentavious Street, and Kevin Givens. At linebacker, they have Fred Warner, Quan Alexander, Dre Greenlaw, Azeez Al-Shaair, Markin Zaucha, and Demetrius Flanagan-Foles. At safety, they have Jimmy Ward, Jaquaski Tart, Tavarius Moore, and Marcel Harris. At cornerback, they have Richard Sherman, Emmanuel Mosley, K'Wan Williams, Ahkello Witherspoon, and Jason Verrett. And their specialists are kicker Robbie Gould, punter Mitch Wishnowsky, and long snapper Kyle Nelson. I'm glad they kept Jeff Wilson Jr. and Kevin Givens. They're two excellent former undrafted free agents who were cut last season, even though they deserved to make the team. The 49ers kept inferior players, such as Solomon Thomas, because they were high draft picks. This year, the 49ers kept the best players. Wilson Jr. and Givens both can play and help this team in 2020. I'm surprised they cut Tim Harris Jr. They drafted him in the 6th round last year, and he spent his rookie season on the injured reserve list. So they cut him before he ever played a game. The 49ers are becoming ruthless, and I like it. I'm surprised they kept Demetrius Flanagan-Foles. He's another undrafted free agent from 2019 who spent last season on the practice squad. But he's a good athlete, and defensive coordinator Robert Saleh is terrific at scouting linebackers and coaching them up. He's a former linebackers coach. Last season, he discovered Azeez Al-Shaair, who made the team as an undrafted free agent rookie. The 49ers scout and develop linebackers better than most teams. I'm not surprised they kept Ross Dwelley. Some people think I'm joking when I say Dwelley is one of the best backup tight ends in the league. I'm not. He could even start for a handful of teams. If the 49ers ever decide they don't need him anymore, and I don't anticipate that happening anytime soon, they'll probably trade him, not cut him, because he has value.